When we look around at this world, there's so many things that happen that grieve us. There's so many things that we see that make us cry, that make us sad, just experiences that people are going through or experiences that we're going through. And these things make us wonder, what are we supposed to do when people are so hurting so deeply? What is the church as a whole supposed to do with all of the things that we have around us? It's interesting when I look at the actions of the early church. And when you look in the book of Acts, when there are people who had needs, the church is the one who met those needs. And with that, people became Christians, not because their lives got amazingly better, but through the way that Christians were able to help people in their time of pain. And I think one of the things that we really need to do as a Christian body is to make sure that we aren't just living our own isolated lives, but we're looking around and seeing that people who are going through some pretty bad things actually could benefit from having us reach out to them and help them. That could be making a meal. That could be just sitting with somebody as they're crying. That could be just spending time with somebody. But there's so many evils that are beyond even maybe our next door neighbor or our friends and family. There's children in other countries who aren't able to eat, and people who have diseases that can be cured by certain medicines if they only had them. And so many times we may feel maybe like handcuffed, like we can't help. And so there are things, thankfully, that the church has done as a whole to help people deal with so many of the evil things that are happening in this world and so much of the suffering that's happening in this world. We've set up orphanages all around the world to help children who have been victims of evil wars and have lost their parents or their families. We've set up the opportunity for people to be able to have food who are running in situations or living in places where there's food shortages. We also try and help people with medicine and medical care. In other words, even if you can't necessarily do the medical care or help people get food, what you are able to do is maybe help donate to those organizations or pray for the people that are working on the ground with those particular individuals who are so in need. There is so much evil in the world around us, and sadly, there always will be. And there is only so much that we as Christians can do as a body. But the thing that we can do is the same thing that God offers to us in the midst of evil or pain, is he says, look, I'm not going to be separate from it. I'm not going to be far from it. I'm going to be close with you in your pain and in your agony. And I think that that might be an approach that we can take with other people. When people are going through these things, we can make sure that we are as present as we can possibly be. In the same way that God comforts us, we in turn can comfort them. So we should never be in a position in our lives we're okay with evil, where somehow it doesn't bother us, somehow it doesn't upset us, it doesn't make us cry. We should never feel okay with it. It should always hurt. Our question shouldn't be how do we eliminate it, because we'll never be able to eliminate it. It might be how do we decrease some of it, or how do we walk with people and live with people who are experiencing such evil things. And that, I think, is the best way that we can show Christ and be his hands and feet in this world that is hurting and crying out for help.